Good morning. Today we're going to show you how to make kefir. Kefir is fermented milk, and the kefir grains themselves are live culture that live inside the milk, and they ferment it, which looks like this. Not terribly appealing, but this was done 24 hours ago. And the principle is that you put fresh milk in every day with the kefir grains, and then they ferment over the 24-hour period. You drink the milk, and then you use the grains again to make fermented milk for the next day. Once you get the hang of it, it's very simple. This is part of my daily routine now. I love this pot. It came from Asda. One of my friends, Vera from WY, gave it to me. It's perfect because it's the right size for us, and I just took off the plastic seal that was round it. I think it's a biscuit jar, so I didn't need it to be airtight. It needs to be able to breathe. You have to remember that kefir is a live culture. All you do is you pour it into there, and as I mix, you'll start to see the milk going through, and you'll start to see the lumps. Now that's the kefir grains. There they are. That's it. You get rid of all of the extra milk. That's the fermented milk. And these are the kefir grains that go into fresh milk. There's a simple ratio. Here's a clean pot for the next batch. You want 1 teaspoon of kefir grains to half a cup of milk. So that's 2, 3, 4. What happens with kefir grains is that it grows. So this is one of the things that you can pass on to a friend if you want. If not, and it just keeps growing, stick to how many cups that you would like of milk each day, and then just compost what's spare. Today there's not much extra, but sometimes there's more than that. So at the moment we're on 4 teaspoons of kefir and 4 half cups of milk. That's the ratio. 1 teaspoon, and you need one of these, a half cup. I just bought some cheap ones, cheap sets, and kept the half cup because that was all I needed. And I have several of these floating about, especially for kefir. So that all just gets washed up for the next day. This goes into the fridge if you're not drinking it straight away. Again, I've cut off the seals. We don't want it to be airtight. It needs to be able to breathe a little bit. It will continue to ferment very slowly in the fridge, so you need to not airtight it, otherwise it will not cope very well. Use this within about 5 days. This will be used for us the next day. We only have 1 extra, but it can stay in the fridge for some time. The best you can do is obviously have it as fresh as it is. It will have the most minerals and vitamins and probiotic and prebiotic healthy bacteria for your gut, and that's why we drink it. So in the new pot we have the kefir grains. You have to use cow's milk for this because the kefir grains grow from feeding off the lactose, which is the sugar in cow's milk. I use half and half. I use half cow's milk, so I'm going to put 2 of these in. And I use half plant-based milk. Because I'm of that age that soya is good for me, helps me to deal with the menopause symptoms, and apparently it's good for your prostate as well. So to suit everybody in the house and to keep the kefir happy, I use half milk, half plant-based. You can use oats milk, you can use rice milk, you can use any type of milk, but it must have some element of cow's milk for it to stay alive and happy. Again, I've taken the seal off this so that it's breathable. This will live on the side now for 24 hours. So it's important to get into a habit of when you're going to do this. That will just live over there out the way. That's where it lives. I tend to do mine between 9 and 10 in the morning because that's when I get up after I've meditated, if it's a good day, and then before my day starts because I'm able to do that. Find a time that suits you. My friend does it in the evening before bed because that suits her. So it's not, there's not, but you must do it every 24 hours. You can go either way an hour. So if you get up a bit later, if you do it in the morning, or you have friends round and it's bedtime's a bit later, but it needs to be between 23 and 25 hours. Don't do 18 or 36, it won't cope. This is yesterday's kefir. It's been in the fridge overnight. That's how you keep kefir that you don't use. This is nice and cold, so it's better for a smoothie. If you look at it here, it's nice and smooth. And we measure it out again with cups. We have 2 of these half cups and then top it up with smoothie because that's how we like it. My grandson, who's smaller and not as keen, only has 1 half cup and we top this all the way up with a smoothie. You can make your own smoothies if you want to. I tend to buy ones that are on special offer in the shop. And that's it. My friend drinks it completely neat. One of the ladies who I played tennis with, she wanted some kefir. She drinks it neat. She's very happy with that. It really is personal taste. We don't particularly like it on its own. It is a slightly fizzy fermented milk. It's okay, but not particularly pleasant. So we always have this with a smoothie. There is some left, and that will be for us. You only make the amount that you need, so it depends how many people are in the house. Each time you make it with 1 teaspoon of kefir and half a cup of milk, you just decide how many of those that you need, and it will grow. Always keep that ratio together at the same time. 5 mils, which is a teaspoon of kefir grains to half a cup of milk, and always make sure half of that is cow's milk because it needs that lactose to feed. It's very, very simple. Once you get into a routine of doing it every day, this is part of our routine now. We have a smoothie for breakfast and then we get on with our day. For me, it helps me to remember to take my supplements as well because I take my supplements with my smoothie. So it's serving 2 purposes for me. Everybody in the house has it and we hardly ever get ill. Hardly ever. So that's why we do it. That's it for today.